Again, Michelle is an arthritis warrior here in Palm Beach County. Hi, Michelle. And,
Hi,
um,
Chris.
and we're going to talk about tips and hacks for
Okay,
arthritis pain. So take over.
thank you. Hi, everybody. Hopefully, this conversation and this talk is helping everybody out. So I'm going to go over a couple of different things that I do on a daily basis. As you know, pain is very different for everybody. It's customizable, what I'm about to say and suggest. I'm going to go over some electronic tips, some little hacks that I use for my everyday life. So first and foremost, as you guys know, when pain arises, for some, we get swelling. For some, we're not able to do the same tasks that we do every day. One thing that affects me with my arthritis is I can't move as much as I would like to, or opening things or cracking things open, or even moving my hands becomes difficult. So some of the tips that I say is definitely find this. It's kind of like a gripper that helps you open bottle caps, tuna cans, or any fruit cans. This tool I carry actually in my purse. So when things get difficult or I don't have anybody to help me, this tool is actually something that I carry around, especially when I used to go to school. Now that I'm working and doing everything virtually, it's in my house, but this is something that I carry all the time. Also, an extended adjustable gripper. So for people that have different sizes of jars, this adjusts and tightens to the size of the jar or the cup of the jar, and you're able to grip a little bit easier and help while you're being able to open it. This kind of has the same concept, just that it is a tougher consistency for those like very resistant jars or very resistant cans that don't want to open as the day goes on. Another thing that I recommend is one of these little squishies. I know that a lot of people talk about like anger squishies, but they're actually really good for your hands as well. Or even if you're having a joint issue or a shoulder issue, you can actually put it underneath your underarm and move the joint of your elbow as well as your shoulder to be able to move it a lot easier. Another thing that my therapist uses, and I'm going to use my hairband because sometimes this is actually near me. For people that have done physical therapy, there's resistance bands that everybody kind of uses. But sometimes we have like that scrunchie on our hand, or we have a rubber band. And sometimes you can actually use that rubber band just to do mindful movements of just stretching your hands and keeping them mobile. My physical therapist uses a lot of techniques in my situation of taping as well, using kinetic tape for mobility. Also being mindful of your breathing. A lot of us are holding a lot of that pain and tension in, and we forget to breathe throughout the process. So if you take a timer, if you put it on your phone, or a lot of us have these watches nowadays, if you set up an alarm, like maybe once every 3 or 4 hours, and actually just have a moment of where you can just breathe or show yourself to breathe or stand up, move around, instead of being stuck in the same position that is going to affect our mobility as the day goes on. Another thing that I recommend for people that are constantly using mouses or have a demanding job, regardless of what you have, there are different type of mouses that exist in the world. It's not just a one mouse thing and can be adaptable. There are these different vertical type of mouses. There's also the roller mouses that people use to be able to roll, but not everybody can use their thumb. But there's vertical, there's a track pads, and so there's different accommodations that you can find online and kind of customize it to you as well. But last but not least, I would like to go over stuff that I recommend for anybody that's going through this. And we have this tool right here. It's something that we carry. Some of us are on it a lot more than others. But if we use this tool to our advantage, we can actually, what I recommend is using it to track your pain, to track your sleep, making sure that you are being mindful of your own self-care, maybe setting up like different ways of using your phone to better help you. So there are a couple apps that I recommend, something for more of the mindfulness side and just calming the brain, when we all know that there is a overlap of, your emotional side and the pain side. So we want to make sure that we are addressing both sides. So one app that I recommend is called the Insight Timer. Insight Timer is something that does like breathing techniques, mindfulness techniques. And I know that we have a guest speaker soon regarding some of that stuff, but that app actually guides you how to manage it a little bit. Also, this app called Wave. Wave is a pain tracker and symptom tracker. So maybe something you ate, or maybe an action that you did, or maybe the weather is affecting your pain. So we'll come to realize what exactly is going on and trying to find what is actually causing your pain to flare out. And by tracking those things, we can actually have that conversation with either our caregiver, our provider, or anybody around us, so we can actually kind of put a pain plan together about how to avoid it as much as possible. But that's just some of the tips and suggestions that I have. Thank you, Chris.